There's a pentatonic thing that we haven't talked about much. We did it with the Gilbert stuff. It's the altered pentatonic, right? Where he goes to the 4 chord and flats the root of the pentatonic. And that would probably be too much to talk about right now, because this really was something you're going to want to like you've got the shapes pretty good. So now you're going to want to try to put them in context. And I recommend starting with Autumn Leaves because it's in the mode that we learned it, or it's in the key that we learned it for the most part. Now, if you look at the, let's look at the B section. No, nothing new. It's not until the last two staves. F sharp minor, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. You just do F sharp Locrian. Then the B7, you would do D sharp Locrian. So I just did the same shape there actually. F sharp to D. Then to the E minor, which is back to our G major, which is F sharp Locrian. So we can go back to our, sorry, F sharp Locrian. That's kind of convoluted way I said it. And that's all over the E. Then you have A7. This is the first time it introduces something kind of new, right? So over the A7, A is the 5 of D, which means you would do C sharp Locrian. Right? And then the D comes around, the D minor, which is the 2. It kind of does a little bit of 2-5-1. It's D minor 7 to G7, which is 2-5, but it doesn't go to 1. It goes to the 7th chord afterwards. So you got A7, which is 5 of the 2, and then you go from 2, 5, and you're expecting that. Instead, you get, and when it does that, it changed back to the key of G, because F sharp half diminished is in the key of G, the minor 7 flat 5. So that's the hard part. A lot of twisting around going on. If you wanted to stick with them pretty strictly, you'd be playing like let's see, E minor. Let's see, that's the key of G, so we do the same to A, which or maybe I'll play, then to D minor. D minor, if it is a 2, because it is a 2, a 2-5-1. You could think of it as a 6 the way we did. You remember how you asked me, how do I know that E minor is a 6 chord, not a 2 chord? Well, here I looked at the next chord and saw that it's a G7. So though either the A7 is in the key of D, which it is, because there's only one dominant chord, it's not really an option there. Then the D minor is a 6 chord, which means it's in the key of F. And then the G is a 7 chord, so it's a key of C. So it's like, is a key really changing every measure? You could play it that way, but it'll sound more consonant if we can keep things in one key as much as possible. And so D minor 7 to G7, we can lump those into one key by calling it a 2-5. And it's way more common that you see a 2-5 than a 6 of one key, 5 of another key. So in that case, I would look at that all as being C major 7. So I could do the, it's in the key of C, D minor to G7 would be 2-5 of the key of C. So I could do B Locrian pentatonic. So now I've got this, E minor, which is the key of G. So E minor pentatonic. I'm saying E minor, that's the F sharp Locrian pentatonic, the one we've been working on the whole time, because it's E minor to G in the same key. To A7, I'm going to just jump to that trick we learned, where you go from the 3rd and do the Locrian pentatonic. and then to D minor, which is going to be in the key of C. So I'm going to do B minor pentatonic. I'll go ahead and do the fifth mode. Yeah, sorry, it took me a second to think that through. And then I'll continue that over G. And then to the F sharp, and now we've changed back to the F sharp Locrian mode. B7 and E. That's where things get hard. Before that, you'll find actually it's probably kind of super easy. You've got, like, if we talk through it, the first two staves, you got F sharp Locrian for the first, same thing for the second, same thing for the third, same thing for the fourth, same thing for the fifth. Finally, the B7 comes around and you're doing D sharp Locrian pentatonic. And then that's one measure, and then you go back. So you can just loop that A section. The first ending and the second ending are the same. So basically that's the A section. And the B section it's the different order, right? It's the F sharp half diminished followed by the B7 followed by the E minor 7. So that gives you that little B trick again. The next staff is the first three measures, except the third measure extended into a fourth. So there's nothing new there. So anyway, that's if you want to call it C section, I guess. I don't know. That part's going to be the hardest part. So if you loop the A section, jam over that for a while, you'll basically be just doing this. Oh. Right? I just ascended and descended. I just ascended and descended all of our modes, and that's basically all you'd have to do until that B7 rolls around. Obviously, then hopefully maybe really the thing to do would be really sick is just be like, me all up and down them, you know. But then you want to be able to play with them with more discretion, you know. If you can play them like that, just all over the place, then you know them really well. And then if you know them really well, you can play them, you know, hopefully a little bit more tastefully than just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, you know. But anyway, if you want, you can turn to another page and do another song too. But I would say just try to get real solid with this one because most of this is just practicing it as we know it.